You know the experience when you go on a trip and you open that hotel room door, or maybe you're staying at a resort where there's a kitchenette and there's several rooms, or maybe you're staying in a cabin and there's just everything that you need for your stay there. I have a place that I'm thinking of in the mountains nearby me, and then there's a place at the beach that I'm thinking of that when I go there, I have everything I need. I've packed my belongings, and it's just so nice to be in an environment where you have minimal items. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I've always wanted my home to feel like those locations that I go to, where I go in and there's not clutter or spaces that have piles of paper or something along the walls. My eye can rest. And that's tricky for me because I'm a curator of my items. I'm a collector of items. I like to go to antique shops, and it's hard for me not to bring home the favorite things that I see there. And so I've tried to practice this, and I want to share with you today some things that have helped me out. I'm going to share a few things that I'm guilty of as a person who is a pile maker. I collect things, and then I'm going to share some things that I've learned that has helped me to be very, very, very successful when it comes to decluttering my home, and also has changed my spending habits and how I shop these days. So stick around, and I look forward to sharing with you a few of the things that I've learned. So first, let's start off with some of the things that I'm guilty of as a person who likes to shop, and I like to collect things, and that has affected my home environment, and it has affected obviously my budget, like I talked about at the last video that we had, and it's affected sometimes my relationships, because we are stressed out when our environment is a mess and we can't find things. It's affected a lot of things. Honestly, I've learned a lot about how the things that we have in our environment affects our mental health. So let's get started. One of the things that I am guilty of is buying organizational bins, because guess what? Those are going to get me organized, right? No. In some cases, they help a little bit, but it isn't going to be the best avenue when it comes to getting things together, because there is a huge difference between organizing and decluttering. Organizing things is just stuff moving, stuff shuffling. You're just shuffling the same items over and over again. That's kind of the definition of insanity, truly. And I've been so guilty of that. Oh, if I can just get this place organized, then it will feel less cluttered. Well, guess what? I still lose things. I still can't find things at times. And so this is something that I have just cut way back on, is buying any kind of organizational bin, because guess what? I can go to my own house and find plenty of them, because I've been guilty of this in the past. The second thing that I am definitely guilty of is, like I said, I'm kind of a catch-em-all type gal, and that has manifested in lots of my hobbies. It has manifested in my interests, and I'll give you a few examples. I have always been I love paper crafting ever since I was a child. I love pens and markers. Going to the office supply store was one of my favorite things to do. And I have always been the type of person, well, if there's something that is out there on the market and there's several types of them, I've got to get them all. And so with scrapbooking, I've got to have all of the types of paper. I mean, I have to be able to plan if I'm going to do a scrapbooking page on Boy Scouts or something like that, I've got to have the perfect paper for it. I never did that layout ever, yet I have paper that has Boy Scout insignia on it. My boys were in Scouts, but I never did the scrapbook page. I am a photographer, and I thought I had to have every single lens, and there's several lenses that I have that I really don't use very often because they're more of an artistic type lens. When I got my very first Cricut machine, which is a die cut machine, I had to collect all the little cartridges. Well, guess what? Now those are kind of obsolete. that you could still use them because everything is digital now. So those cartridges don't really mean a lot. You could use them. It's just technology moves on. So that's something I've learned, is that if you buy something now, is the technology moving so fast that pretty much it's going to be obsolete very soon. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. One of the reasons why I am guilty of having clutter or piles of things around my home, and I'm still trying to do a little bit better at this and change my strategies and systems, is because I don't have any strategies or systems. My car keys are still something that I am trying to do better at, which is I'll come in the door and I don't have a place to put them. And so consequently, I am often guilty of thinking to myself, where are my keys before I leave? And that could so easily be solved by just having a hook on the wall or a basket or a bin. I know this. I'm intelligent enough to figure this out. Do I do it? No, not yet. And the way that that behavior will change is when I am eventually really, really late for something or miss out on something because I could not find my keys. So there's still hope. Stick with me. Be patient. I'll figure it out. The fourth thing that I do, I'm guilty of keeping things because I'll need it someday. I will need this item someday, and then I'll be so glad that I kept it. Now, that has happened on an occasion or two. Obviously, there's items that I'm glad that I keep. But there's things that we just need to, in our minds, we need to let them go. It is just so great to be able to have space and for a place for your eye to rest, and that you will have fewer things to set your space free. We're talking about our environmental health here and how it affects our brain, our creativity, our ability to relax. And this is just something over the last several years I have come to understand on a very deep level. And this is coming from someone who likes things. I like to curate my home to look very much like an antique store. And so those two personalities inside me are fighting. I want to be a clutter-free person, but then at the same time, I also want my favorite things that I love so much to be around me. So those are the things. Let's review. I buy too many organizational bins. Not so much anymore because I've grown a lot in that category. I suffer from catch-em-all type behavior where I like to buy all of the things that go with certain sets. And then I am currently working on developing better systems and strategies to keep my home tidy. Also, I have a situation where I keep things because I'm trying to save myself from buying it again. So I know I'll use this thing someday, and I'm getting better at that one as well. So how have I changed all this and how have I fixed it? I'm still working on it. I want you guys to go on this journey with me. I'm on fire right now because I just spent several days decluttering my home, and I will share with you how many items I estimate that I decluttered from my home with you after I share these next things. So what have I done to combat these things that I'm guilty of for keeping my home kind of decluttered and not straightened up and tidied? First of all, I have been playing a game with myself over the last couple of years. I just pretty much have stopped buying things if I already have the item at home. And I started with my skincare, my shampoo, all of the things in my bathroom area. And then the same thing with cleaning products or things. Isn't that ironic? We collect cleaning products, but then our house is cluttered. It doesn't make sense to me, but the psychology is there. I use up what I need and what I have. And then what I'm tempted to buy something new for the dopamine hit of this will help me study better, or this will help me become better at this if I have this one item. I think to myself, well, have I already bought it? Do I have it? Can I find a little bit of joy and dopamine from using the item that I already bought? Because when I bought that item, it gave me joy. So I have to kind of wake that joy up. So one of the things I've committed to is using up what I have, because guess what? It's a pretty painful to go through a big cluttering process and to get rid of things, and then find out that all of that stuff that you're going to get rid of, it represents money. And so it's really easy for me to say, well, you know what, don't rebuy. Don't buy new things, because that's just going to be something that you're going to have to spend a Saturday on to declutter in the future. So that has really, really helped me out to say, this is work for you later. You have to manage this later. Okay, so the next truth bomb that I'm going to share with you, I need you to listen with both ears. Look me in the eye. This next technique that I have used to combat clutter in my home comes from Dayna from A Slob Comes Clean. She is amazing because she has just developed this system that creates no mess. You can stop anytime you want. And she kind of talks about how any little bit of decluttering equals success. So a little bit of less stuff equals success. And so let me share with you how this system works, because we've all done it where you're like, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna declutter, de-junk the garage. And then all of a sudden you're looking at your yearbook pictures from 6th grade, you know, and you're so distracted and all you're doing is sitting around a bunch of stuff from your past. And it's debilitating, it's exhausting, it is embarrassing, it's all of those things. And so I just need to show you really fast. He's right here being a very good boy, no barking. Yes, we're not going to declutter the palm, just so you know. Okay, so moving on. The no mess decluttering process is like this, and it's cool because the first 2 steps you feel so stinking successful, because the first thing you're going to do when you want to declutter an area is you're going to just find the trash. And I know what you're thinking, you're like, trash? I don't have trash in my house. Yes you do. You do. And it's so great because you're immediately successful. So you grab a garbage bag and you just start throwing away the trash. Are you good? You're not the trash. Okay, just checking. Okay, so you start with trash, and so you immediately have momentum, you immediately are successful, and you keep that trash bag really handy. And then the next step is to go through and find out what is just obviously a donation, something you're so sick of looking at that someone else can benefit from, and you look for just the obvious donations. She calls them donations. And so I love that step because it gives you permission just to simply pick out in that area what are the things that you're just obviously going to donate. Okay. And then if you pick up an item and say I pick up these glasses and they do not belong here, you take those to the location they belong immediately. You do not make a pile. You immediately go move whatever you just picked up that needs to be decluttered, and you go to that new area. And this is the key. You have to listen up to this to totally understand how this works. So let's say these glasses belong in my office area, because I'm always sitting in my office wondering where my glasses are. So I go to my office area and I go to put them down, and I just quickly glance at the area, and if there is not room to put these glasses, then guess what? I'm going to do a little decluttering there, remove a few things that either are trash or donation to make room for this item. This isn't a great example. Something else that might be a good example is maybe like some sort of like craft item or something like that. Some area that has more of a container type area. I'll think of a better example, but this has helped me out immensely when I'm in that zone of I am decluttering today, and then I go to the new area to put the area away. Maybe sheets and towels is a great idea. You have a couple pillowcases that are out of place, and you go to the linen closet where you keep your pillowcases and your sheets and your towels, and you realize, wow, I really have too many pillowcases, and that's an opportunity for you. Like, you know what, this one can go, and then you have room for the one that was out of place. So then you go back to your original area and you just keep up with that process. If you have something that is in the area that is in the wrong place, you move your body to the new location of where this item goes, and you ask yourself, where would I look for this item? Why is it out of place? Where would I look for this item? And if you go to that place and there's more junk in that area that needs to be removed, you go through the process that way. I love this step or this process because you can stop at any time and there's no mess except for the trash to throw out. You can stop at any time and feel successful. I minimized some items in this area. It just makes you feel like $1,000,000. it makes you feel like you're making progress, but you aren't making the mess, the debilitating mess, the piles and the this and the that. And you do have a donation pile, but I always keep those contained in one of my organization bins that I've bought. And then I know I just take that and I put it in my garage or the back of my car, and then we all know what happens then. It sits there for, let's be honest, sometimes several months before I get it to the donation center. But I don't care. I have decluttered, dejunked. I have done the hard work, and then I will donate it eventually. It will be great. So the no mess decluttering process or system has, YouTubers say this all the time, it has changed my life. I love decluttering my home, and you guys, I will share with you right now, I just decluttered probably close to 1,000 items from my home using this system. Now, it's embarrassing to admit that. 1,000 items, Julia, really? Yes, because it was things like, I had a whole drawer full of owner's manuals in my kitchen. Well, we all know you can look it up online. You do not need to keep those. You know those little ball shaker bottle things that come inside a shaker bottle? I had probably like 10 of those. I maybe need 2. I mean, why do I have so many of those? Probably because I bought so many shaker bottles, or they come free with your protein shake. So it was items like that. I also decluttered a whole bunch of clothing, like a huge amount from my closet, a huge amount of paper products. I went through my jewelry drawer. I made a list of every area in my home, and I've basically decluttered all of my kids. My kids are gonna think they're next, that I'm gonna donate them. That's a Dave Ramsey quote. No, not really. I'm also getting ready maybe to have a garage sale this summer, because that's motivation for me. So no mess decluttering. I give it a thumbs up. It's so great. Okay, another motivation for me to declutter, and this one is very personal, and I know I am not alone in this feeling. Did you guys know that your stuff, your clutter speaks to you, and it's usually not kind? When I see piles, or I notice that my closet is full of clothes that I don't wear, and then the clothes I do wear are in a laundry basket, not folded, and not put away like a grown-up, that starts the dialogue in my head that I'm messy, unorganized, and I'm not an adult. And that's simply just not true, because I know there's a lot of people like me, and these I follow several people that on YouTube that have helped me immensely to declutter my home. There is Cass from the Clutter Bug. There is Joshua Becker is another great declutterer person. He is amazing. And then Dawn from the Minimal Mom is another one that I follow. And then obviously Dayna from A Slob Comes Clean. I just listen to them while I'm decluttering, and it's just, sometimes they just are the cheerleader that I need to declutter. You guys, my home is beautiful. It is my refuge from the world. I love my home, and I want to continue to declutter so that I can just feel less guilty, believe it or not. And this is what it is. What I've learned about myself is that when my clutter is nagging me, like, you really ought to declutter the garage, or you really need to get rid of those items, what I've learned is that it's hard for me to be creative. I put off starting this YouTube, because why do you have business to start a YouTube when you need to declutter your crafting supplies? You need to declutter the garage. You need to, your kitchen isn't like that oasis that you love when you go to the resorts and you only have one can opener and one spatula. What gives you the right to start a YouTube channel when your home is not the way you want it to be? And this is a real thing. All of these people that I follow have validated this feeling for me, and I know that I'm not alone. And so I hope that I'm making sense to anybody that might be watching this video. My goal is to get my home to feel like those resorts that I visit. I'm being discreet about sharing exactly what resort. It's not like I go off to resorts all the time. I'm just saying there's one that I go to probably every other year. It's a place I used to visit in my childhood, and I just loved the feeling there. You go in, everything has a place. There's 2 nightstands. There's nothing up against the wall. There's nothing cluttery. There's one piece of art on the wall. And I will never stop being a curator of my favorite things in my home, ever. I will not stop doing that. But what I'm trying to do is make it so that I'm less crazy wondering where my keys are or looking for items that I thought I had put it right here. Like I told you guys on one of my videos, I couldn't even find the charger for my battery to make a video one day, and it put me back about 3 hours. Yay, winning at life on that one. But I eventually found it and all worked out. So let's review. I stopped buying things that I don't need because I already have it at home. I use my makeup until it all the way down. You hit pan and then you use the rest of it, as they say. And then I just make do with what I have. I have really changed my buying habits. I kind of chuckle at marketing now. When I am tempted to buy something, I'm like, that's funny. You are not going to get me this time. You're not going to snare me with your marketing tactics. I am smarter than that these days. And so use the no mess decluttering system. You will love it. Look up Dayna from A Slob Comes Clean. She's amazing. And then here's the second one, the third one, your stuff will speak to you. It speaks negative things to you. And if you feel that, start making the change. You will love your space when the things that you truly love are what is around you. Okay, and then here's the last one. And I kind of shared this already. Any little amount of decluttering, even if you just start with the trash, it feels so good. It is like the best dopamine hit ever. If you feel like, okay, well, let me test this out. Let me see if what Julia is saying is true. Just grab yourself a box, a bin, a bag, and just simply go around your house and give yourself permission to simply look for the trash. And trust me, it's there. You bring home a big thing of toilet paper, and what is it wrapped in? A big bag. That's the trash I'm talking about. Hopefully you don't have the kind of trash laying around like, Taco Bell bags and all of those things. The trash is there and you would be shocked. And then here is what is so amazing, you guys. Did you know there is no such thing as motivation as willpower? What it is actually action. Action is what creates motivation. Action is what creates us willing and being able to do more. So I told you, I took 3 days of my Christmas break. I didn't think it was going to be 3 days. I thought, okay, I'm going to give it 2 days. I'm just going to go hardcore, just ruthless, just declutter my house, declutter things that I kept from the last time I decluttered. And I started with my kitchen. I went to my den. I did a little bit in the living room. I made it to my bedroom, my little bit of my bathroom, and then you get the point. I went all over my house. And you guys, I kid you not, I will try to put a photo of what I decluttered. There was a huge trash bag. So there's just a lot of trash, a lot of things that I would never donate. So I just threw them out. And it felt absolutely amazing. I have to go back to school tomorrow. I have to go back after Christmas break, and that's a hard thing to do. And it's always met with a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of and then once I see my kids, all my students, I just love it and I get over it and it's just fine. But I feel like I'm going with just this huge weight lifted off my shoulders. I can step into my closet now, and all of my clothes that I use are in the closet for once, instead of being somewhere else, in a laundry basket, halfway in the laundry, not in the laundry. This is how I've been my whole life, and I'm trying to get better at it. We can do this. We can do hard things, and we can learn new things as an adult. And so I just want to maybe provide a little hope for anybody that's feeling behind, or their clutter is talking to them. You can do this. There are items in your home, I would suggest that you're like, duh, that's why she calls it declutter, donate. It's stuff that you're like, I don't love that anymore. I don't want that anymore. And here is another thing to dive a little bit deeper on the concept of my stuff speaks to me. Y'all, I've been through some stuff in my life, and I noticed on this declutter that I just did, I finally allowed myself to get rid of things that were from a time in my life that things were rough. It was rough. And so it felt so good to go, this item was from that particular time, and now I won't have to see it anymore. I won't have to look at it in my environment and immediately be reminded of that time. And who knows why you hold on to it. Again, it's just this is very deeply rooted in psychology and in human behavior. And if I have not mentioned it, that these things were my major. This is why I love talking about it. I majored in health and I minored in psychology, and I love talking about the mind and the body and how they are connected. And so I just want to let you guys know that my 4 followers that I have right now, I love you guys so much, and I love talking about wellness, and I love how messy life can be, but we are in control of taking care of that mess and making it tidy again. I didn't think I would tear up, but it means a lot to me that I'm seeing myself evolve in all these ways, and I just feel like I want to share it with everybody. It sounds so cheesy to say that, but this is something that I feel like I can help. I can help someone my age, or maybe there's like a mid-20-year-old person who is like me, who makes piles and they feel like they can never truly relax. And you guys, I haven't had a movie night where I can just like truly put my feet up and have a bowl of popcorn without a lot of noise in the background of my head saying, how dare you take a night off? You have things you need to do. You have things that are untied, things that are not done that you need to follow up with. How dare you relax? I don't want that feeling in the back of my mind anymore. I want to be able to relax fully. And so that's kind of why I'm sharing this. So you can see how excited I am. I feel really good. I've been really excited to record this video because I'm not gonna lie, while I was decluttering, I just was completely binge listening to all of the people that I've mentioned. Joshua Becker, Dawn, the Minimal Mom, Cass from the Clutter Bug, and then also Dayna from A Slob Comes Clean. They're my heroes, and they truly are helping people, thousands of people, to get their house under control. Okay, I love you guys. Have a really good day. I hope everything goes well tomorrow at school. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.